Hello, and welcome to a special edition of Up Close on METV. I'm Charles Clapsaddle, Station Manager for Manatee Educational Television. It's my great pleasure to have with us today two individuals who are going to talk about two very important programs for our community. Please welcome Mayor Wayne Poston. Mr. Mayor, it's great to see you.
Nice to see you, Charles.
And Pastor Don Storiano. You're the pastor of the Kingdom
Life Christian Church in
Kingdom
Bradenton.
Life, but you're also the pastor for the police department. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
correct, sir?
Yes.
And thank you so much for taking the time out, what is a very busy
Sure.
schedule, to talk about what I think are two wonderful programs that really benefit this community. And that first one we're going to talk about, sir, is the Mayor's Campaign to Feed the Hungry.
Yeah.
And that's been around for many years.
Yeah, it's really, I think, the 30th anniversary. It was actually started by a mayor in Sarasota, but now it is Manatee and Sarasota County.
It's terrific.
And really done wonderful work. It was particularly aimed at the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas, to make sure that people on those special days have enough for themselves to eat and for their children to eat and the families to do. So that's the main focus, but we have stretched that a little bit
Yes.
to make sure we're trying to do this year round, because we have a greater homeless population than we've ever had.
Right.
We have many of our folks who are temporarily homeless. They're out of a job.
Correct.
For the first time in their life, they've never been in that position. They will get back on their feet, but they need a helping hand to get through this tough time.
Well, I just want to say that this program that you've been involved with since 2000 or so, has really grown, and it's really important give back to the community. And the emphasis that you've had on trying not only just for the holidays to make sure people are fed, but also to make sure that food bank that supports this is filled pretty much year-round.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do. And we talk lots and lots about that. Don really works hard on this program, and so we're really trying to move it forward. But what we're really talking about today is with the holidays coming, they're right around the corner. So our big food drive, particularly for Thanksgiving, will be up through the 18th, the 7th to the 18th of November.
So that kind of emphasis on the 7th through the 18th,
Right.
businesses, individuals, organizations, schools can do a food drive specifically to help support the mayor's campaign for the hungry. Is that correct?
And what we will do is we will actually have the Mayor's Feed the Hungry people deliver the boxes to anybody who wants them, any business or any school or city halls, and then we get them filled, and then we pick them up on the 18th. And it's taken down to
Ed Smith Stadium, I believe, right?
Yeah, in Sarasota, and it gets sorted, and then it comes back to the food banks, Manatee and Sarasota, to feed the folks.
What a great combination of both Manatee and
Yeah.
Sarasota County working together for this, but also what a great outreach. Now, Pastor, you've been involved with this for many years. Is that correct, sir?
Yeah, it was approximately the last, I think, 4 or 5 years we started working together to bring awareness to the church community. You have an army out there on Sunday meeting together. From small churches to a couple of hundred to churches that have 1,000 or more. And if they can we want to encourage them to put those boxes and those barrels in their lobbies and different places on their campus and communicate that to their congregation. And then when they come for their midweek or their Sunday service, bring the food, fill it up, and we can be a part of that as well as the church community.
But also the business community can do
Yes.
a lot as well. I mean, there's many great businesses in Manatee County and the city of Bradenton that if they had a box or they asked for a box to be provided to them, all of their employees can bring something from home and contribute.
Absolutely.
Right.
And what about monetarily as well? Can they contribute monetarily?
Yes, they can, and as a matter of fact, they can even contribute through Publix, because Publix supermarkets in Manatee and Sarasota counties, if you want to contribute there, you can do them there.
So
Everybody.
you're checking out.
You're
and
checking out, you
Let's say
get
you're
out.
getting your,
Right.
your cup of coffee or something, and you can check out right there and
Right.
make a contribution to the mayor's Feed the Hungry program.
Yeah.
How convenient is that?
Yeah, and it goes direct. If it's money, we buy food at the food banks, and if it's food, then we share it and distribute it. And one of the things, the outreach too, we did last week. Pastor Don and I went to the Christian Television Network and went on there because we know the churches,
Right.
as churches and as people, want to contribute. We're just trying to tell them how and a better way to do it, and how the distribution will be done, so the churches don't have to do all that work.
Well, part of the situation we've had is, churches have food pantries and food banks.
Right.
And, you count on volunteers to do it.
Right.
The food gets outdated, the person moves away,
And then you're
it
stuck.
just sits there. So let's work together where the church is serving the government and helping with this situation in the community by just putting the boxes, the barrels out, bring the food, then they pick it up. And it's easy.
Well, and I've got to say, to both of you gentlemen, under your leadership and your kind of vision and your efforts to help those that are less needy is to really be applauded. I mean, this is, something that, people understand that going hungry, especially around the holidays, is something that we can help with. And I think it's really important, and this type of effort is really that type of thing that gives back to our community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's non-perishable food.
Right.
Can't do glass. We got to stay
Right.
away from that.
Right.
But we know also what happens at Thanksgiving is people will go and buy turkeys, or organizations will give stuff that we have to get those into the food bank.
Exactly.
And get them out into the hands of people. And so we work that end of it too. But the perishables, what we're asking to go into the boxes, and we'll take it from there.
And I think it's a great thing to do that. And, this kind of outreach to encourage our community, which is a very giving community to begin with,
Right.
to participate in this can help more people. And I think and there's no one should be going hungry. And especially in this, as we approach the
Right.
holidays in just a few short weeks, it's important to have that kind of giving back.
Yes.
And it's good. So let's go through this. It's the week of November 7th through the 18th. And people can gear up for that. If you're a class at school and you want to do something, all you have to do is ask for a box or a barrel to come to your school.
Right.
Or business.
Yes.
Yep.
And-
And we'll bring it.
And we're going to put the
And we'll pick it up once you fill it up.
beat that. You can't beat that. And the other thing which I think is important is that this goes directly to people in need in our community.
Right.
Yes.
We're talking about individuals and families that perhaps will go hungry if they don't
Yes.
receive some kind of support, and that's a critical thing. And the combination of working with all the mayors from the
Right.
different areas and the municipalities
Right.
around here makes for a more concentrated effort.
Yeah.
Again, Mr. Mayor, congratulations for leading this effort. It
Well-
really is something that helps, at the most
Yeah.
basic need,
Yeah,
and
it
that's
does.
feeding people.
And we think it's good. This program, as we say, has been around probably, I think it's the 30th anniversary.
Important.
But we're stepping it up and getting it done. And one of the things we want to tell you is, when you're given to this, there's no overhead in this. This is
And I
all
do like-
volunteer deal, and everything you do is going direct to people in need.
And that's an important thing. And that's this time of the year, as you get into the holidays, it's really important to remember that.
Right.
But, we're going to have the information up, how to contact you, sir,
Right.
and to request a barrel or a box, or how they can make a donation. So that information is going to be up on the screen. So people throughout this community, whether you're a Boy Scout troop or a large business or an
Right.
individual who wants to make a donation, either by cash or by a donation, can find out how best to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think the collecting things, food, seems to be easier to do than the distribution. And that's
Yes.
where people get stuck. That's where this program takes that
It picks up.
frustration, if you will, away and makes it easy for us to get the food to a lot of people in need.
And I think that's critical.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
really is critical.
And the information we put up is a direct contact with the person who runs this.
Perfect.
So there's actually a name that you can.
And that's important
We'll put
too.
it
So
up
we're
there,
going to
yeah.
have that up on the screen for individuals to watch,
That'd be
so
great.
they can make their donation, and it's a wonderful way to to feel good about the holidays, but also to be aware that this is a constant issue throughout our community throughout the year. Now,
Now, we're stepping up a little bit now. We get off the holidays in a second. We do everything including to step up for veterans who are homeless.
That's
And
just as critical.
I mean, there's a variety of things that we're getting into now as this grows, but we're going to concentrate really now on getting the holidays taken care of, Thanksgiving and Christmas.
And Mr. Mayor and Pastor, you know, if this was all that you were doing, you know, giving back to the community by helping to feed people and helping to stop hunger, especially around the holiday, this would be significant.
Yeah.
But that's not all. You also have a program called Honoring the Badge.
Yes.
Right.
And I want you to tell me a little bit about that and how people can get involved with that, Mr. Mayor.
Well, I'm going to have Pastor Don, who is works with our police department very, very closely. He's our chaplain for the Bradenton Police
Right.
Department. We think that what Honoring the Badge is an extension of our community policing effort in the city of Bradenton. Crime has been down now for about 10 years in the city. The reason is we work with the community. Our police officers, when they come to work, go to the same neighborhood. Every day they go to work. And you know, if someone's working in your neighborhood and you see them every day, you start to get familiar with them, you learn their name, you have conversations with them, you build trust. That's the thing we try to do with community policing, and it's helped us be a
Right.
stronger police force by having the community trust, believe in us, and help us. Crime's down because of that relationship.
And you know, I think it's an important thing because it's a win-win situation.
Right.
The individuals, I would think, that are in that community see that individual who's there day in and day out, and also that officer is there, you know, so he's familiar with the issues in the community, whether, you know, just to sit and counsel a young person or to help out in a variety of ways. So that community policing is an important aspect, and I think the city is really on a great track to continue that.
Yeah, one of the things that we've just initiated, and it started actually last week, we have our police officers now, when they're in their neighborhoods, they have to be out of their car 2 hours a week walking that beat.
I think that's fantastic.
And so
Yeah.
that's what we're doing now. We're excited about that. We think it'll be even a closer relationship. But so we're trying to work those relationships. Honoring the Badge is another way we're trying to foster that relationship, but we're starting with children. And I think Pastor Don can
Yeah.
really speak to this.
This is our 8th year
Eighth
doing
year,
Honoring the
right.
Badge. And it's very basic and simple but powerful. We raise money, minimum goal of 100 children that can go Christmas shopping with a police officer at Toys R Us right here in Bradenton. So we do multiples of $25. So we raise money to get $25 gift cards at Toys R Us. Community leaders and police officers invite children in need in the inner city areas, and they show up. This year it'll be Tuesday, December 13th at 6 p.m. And they show up, they register, and then we give them a card. We hand them off to a police officer, which, by the way, are doing it on their own time. They're off duty, so they're using their own time to do this.
And they're volunteering to come in to
Yes.
help these all these children.
And they walk them through Toys R Us, and they let them pick out the toy of their choice and check them out. And now that we've been doing this for 8 years, we do elementary age. We've actually seen, because we go to the same neighborhood each year, we've seen these kids grow up. And some of them have come and they recognize the officer they were with last year and want that same officer.
That's very
And
good.
it's really built some bonding and some relationships, and as well as teaching the children to honor and respect those that serve and protect them. And get kids Christmas toys that for some of them might not get anything without this program.
Now, the officer and the child will go through the store with a $25 gift certificate. The child gets to pick
That's great.
what it is they want.
And I really think that's a great thing because, you know, again, you know, knowing the caliber and the quality of the people that serve in the Bradenton Police Department, it's really a wonderful thing for them to share that kind of spirit of cooperation with the child. Take them by the hand and say, you know, did you see this, or would you like this, and type of thing. It's got to be a wonderful bonding experience.
It is.
Well, and we think that that child doesn't see a police officer and say, I'm
Right.
afraid of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's
I've
the
had a
big
good
part
time.
of it.
Yeah.
And I would say, you know, the combined efforts of the police department and your gentlemen's leadership in trying to do this program creates a better community.
does.
It creates
I think it does,
more trust. It creates a sense of cooperation. So you're always working together instead of pulling apart.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and one of the things that warmed our heart most of all is we had one child who came from a pretty rough neighborhood with a police officer, and what did he select? A police cruiser model about this big.
How great is that?
It's really terrific, really terrific.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of, and Pastor, you were mentioning a story the other day, or earlier, about a child that came from thing that his family brought to participate in the program.
Yes, you know, from, again, a pretty rough background.
Right.
The parents, a pretty rough background. And this actually happened, they got invited by some of the detectives that actually worked that special unit, and they brought me down into the neighborhood to meet some of the folks
Yeah.
that they've actually had to arrest before, and introduce me to them, introduce me to their children. And it started out a little stiff, but by the end, I'm hugging the parents, I'm hugging the children, the officers are embracing them, we're handing them, and they showed up for the toy drive,
Right.
handed their children off to those same police officers to take them shopping.
That's terrific.
And we've had some reports over the years, this is now our 8th year, where some of those people were so impacted they changed their lifestyle and just turned it around and are now living productive lives and serving the community as well.
And you know, that's just an indicator of the leadership and the vision of how the police and the community can come together for better neighborhoods, better communities.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, gentlemen, we're kind of winding down on time, and I just want to get some final comments. And Pastor, we'll start with you, if I may. You know, between the Mayor's campaign for feeding the homeless and the honoring the badge thing, these are wonderful programs, and I think if people knew more about it, they could do more for you.
Yes.
And so we're going to have the information up on the screen. But what do you want this community to know about why they should get involved?
Well, specifically for honoring the badge, I mean, anytime you give into something like this, you know, you're planting seed in good soil that's going to do good and grow for a long time. So one of the things they can do to be involved is just support one child. If everyone watching sent in $25 for one child to go Christmas shopping, we would break the records over the last 8 years, and we would impact even more children in more neighborhoods. So for me, anytime you're giving back into the community, and for the church community out there, my fellow pastors that are watching, my philosophy is, you know, we're here to serve. And Jesus said, I've not come to be served, but to serve others. And I think it's our responsibility to serve the community, to serve the government, the police, wherever we can, and work together to make it a better community.
Thank you, Pastor.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, you know, your leadership over the years with your dedication to this community, your leadership on the police department has proven, you know, to be so effective and kind of visionary because of the fact of your emphasis on community policing. What do you want this community to know?
Well,
you know, why are these things something that everybody should participate in?
Because this is what Bradenton does. And that's why we all live in Bradenton. Bradenton takes care of its own. We support each other. When you live in Bradenton and you got a town on vacation, your neighbors are watching your house to make sure everything's okay. A lot of communities are not like that. Bradenton is very unique in having that sense throughout the community. That's why we call it the Friendly City. And when we brought that back, that was retro from the 1930s. So it's been a long time that we've been working together and sharing, and both of these programs epitomize that feeling.
Mr. Mayor, Pastor Suriano, I want to thank you very much for sharing this information with us. And we're going to put the information up on the screen, how they can donate for the Mayor's campaign to feed the homeless, but also how they can participate in honoring the badge. And we hope that you get more donation, and we would welcome you back during the rest of the year to talk about some of the other initiatives that you may be doing as you move forward. Again, congratulations on this program. Thank you for your leadership on making sure that these kind of continue for the benefit of all the citizens of our community. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, it's always a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
And please look at the information on your screen about how you can donate, both to the Mayor's campaign for feeding the homeless and for honoring the badge. And thank you for joining us on this special edition of Up Close on METV.